Good evening, folks. This is the Factivists Project, and this is your weekly wake-up call. And we're going to turn this right over to Dave.
Okay, so this weekly wake-up call is directly to the Democratic, independent, and non-registered potential voters, but all of you voters out there, okay, we need to look at our losses this term and correct our mistakes, because there are a lot of, and teach our youth about our mistakes as we move along. There is what's called the Gen Z generation. This is basically the youth movement of 2022 and of the 2020s. And I am hearing a lot of the youth movement is going to do all of these great things. It's going to be a revolution and all of those sorts of things. Deb and I have been around, so we have Monday knowledge, and we have seen this over and over again with the Rainbow Coalition, with Obama Hope and Change, and Deb even farther back with the 1968 Democratic Convention. We've seen it over and over and over again. And in order to have change that the Gen Z generation is talking about, they have to work with people that they don't necessarily agree with within the Democratic Party. And that is the more moderate faction of the Democratic Party. And if you remember back in 2016, Bernie Sanders, when he accepted that Hillary Clinton was the nominee and he supported her, what happened? He was demonized. He was called a sheepdog and all of that kind of thing. Bernie was right. He was right. Now looking back, our Trump derangement syndrome was absolutely spot on. Do you see what's going on right now? We see it, and we see it in real time. And right now, I'm in New York. Okay, so I see AOC bashing the moderates and saying this one has to get out of office and that one has to get out of office. It looks like Hakeem Jeffries is going to be potentially the new House leadership. And he's already set up a PAC to protect incumbents during a primary. All of this is a mistake. We need to work together. We have to, in order to fight the real enemy. If change is going to happen, it's going to happen. It took Nancy Pelosi 2 decades to figure this out. She's just started to work with the progressives. I'm not saying the progressives should get everything. It's not going to happen. But as progressives get elected, the moderates need to stop fighting that. As the moderates get elected, the Democrats have to accept that and look to see what they can do and how they can work with that party. That's the first thing. The second thing is, first thing we need to do is run candidates. Why was Paul Gosar running unopposed? We had 24 Republican candidates that were not opposed by Democratic candidates.
That was just in the House.
That was just in the House.
So would we win all 24? Probably not, but we didn't need all 24. And right. No one's going to tell me they couldn't find somebody somewhere that may have eked through. They in a lot of cases, the Democratic groups in the states didn't even try. That is unacceptable. The enemy is the GOP. It is not other people in the Democratic Party. There are not, all the people in this country are not all, moderates, and they're not all progressives. And we need to be able to work together on this. All right. We need to make sure everybody's rights are protected, first of all, and then we work together on the rest of it. 24 unopposed House members from the GOP, that's fucking unacceptable.
Yep. There's a Newsweek article I presented to you. I suggest you read it. That says that the Democratic Party, they were afraid of running some of these candidates because they were afraid of getting demolished and afraid of being embarrassed. Well, you know what? The Republicans aren't afraid of putting idiots up, and they put whoever they want to up to see what sticks up the wall. And guess what? Raphael Warnock is going into a runoff with one of the most low bar candidates I have ever seen in Herschel Walker. So why not run somebody against Paul Gosar just to see what works for the next election?
Paul Gosar's family would have endorsed the Democrat. Okay? They would have endorsed the Democrat. They all came out and said he's unfit for office. People, that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable that one of the most virulently evil men in office ran unopposed. It's disgusting.
Finally, we need to learn from our mistakes, and we need to be introspective, like Beto O'Rourke. Instead of people going on Twitter and saying, the machines broke down and they had problems getting to the polls, and a district court judge allowed it to the polls to stay open a half hour, and those votes were thrown out. We're talking like 10,000 votes. He lost by about 1 million votes. Okay, he's looking at his own campaign, and he's considering where to go from there. That's what we need to do. We need to stop this whole thing about the election was rigged. It wasn't rigged. He lost. Okay, but he had some balls running on an or a pro-gun, regulation campaign against the NRA state in Texas. Okay, and he did as well as he did. So we need to look at that. The last thing I want to say is that Adam Frisch, who was actually moderate, to the right of Nancy Pelosi, he came this close to winning, but he himself said that he's conceding so that people will save their money. Would you rather have him, or would you rather have Lauren Boebert? Think about that. Next time he's considering running, maybe, it's a little early.
Lauren Boebert was trying to raise money for a recount before it was even known that she needed a recount. Okay.
Right.
Because he's a member of the GOP and all she cares about is fucking power. That's the way it is. We have another guy who, something, who knows if they had recounted, who knows what would have happened. But you know what? Right. He was thinking of the people first. That's the kind of people you elect, not the Lauren Boeberts of the world.
There will be an automatic recount anyway, but he said, you know what? It's a very slim chance. I'm not going to take people's money for that. And he said, listen, guys, I signed a letter of intent for 2024 in order, just in case I needed to raise further funds for a recount. Now, there's going to be an automatic recount anyway, but he's not being opportunistic. Would you consider him running against Lauren Boebert a second time? I would.
Yep. No doubt. No doubt.
So, guys, we need to think strategically about this and stop being more like team and I'm not going to follow this guy because he doesn't believe in this person, or he doesn't follow this person, or doesn't endorse this candidate, or doesn't have this group on their Twitter page, or this person on their Twitter page. Stop all that. We need to come together. By the way, the big tent, put your money where your mouth is. Hakeem Jeffries, if you want a big tent, you have to work with the left. Same thing goes with AOC and the people on the left. Put your money where your mouth is. You want a big tent? Let's go. I'm ready to work with you. See you guys in the long show.